What is up, you guys? And today I'm back here with another video. And in this video I'll be doing a Ncaa bracketology update. And I'm just going to be talking about all the teams that are in this year's tournament and just giving you a weekly update. Every Friday night I'll probably just give you an update on this until the tournament, so this will probably be like a three video series. But anyways, in the Midwest, this was just updated today. But in the Midwest, we have the number 1 seeded Kansas, whose record is 25-3, playing against either Prairie View. So if it shows 2 teams, and those teams have to play each other to get into the tournament, versus the 16-seeded Prairie View A&M and 16-seeded North Carolina A&T, and that's in Omaha. Then we've got the 8-seeded LSU versus the 9-seeded Indiana, and then we've got in Cleveland we've got the 5-seeded Michigan State against the 12-seeded Northern Iowa. Then we have the 4-seeded Louisville versus the 13-seeded Vermont. Then in St. Louis, we have the 6-seeded Ohio State versus the 11-seeded Wichita State. Then we've got the 3-seeded Kentucky Wildcats versus the 14-seeded Bowling Green Falcons, I don't know. Then we've got, in Greensboro, we've got the 7-seeded Butler Bulldogs versus the 10-seeded Utah State Aggies. Then we've got the number 2 Maryland Terrapins versus the 15-seeded Wright State Wolves. I'm guessing, I don't know. Or a littler college, so I don't know any of their, like their mascots or anything. Then we've got the 1-seeded San Diego State Aggies, or something, Actizes, or something like that, versus the 16-seeded Austin Peay. Then we've got 8-seeded Florida Gators versus the 9-seeded St. Mary's. Then that's in Sacramento. Then in Tampa, which is where I'm gonna be, not at the game, but that's where I'm gonna be during the games. 5-seeded Colorado Buffaloes versus the 12-seed Liberty. Then we've got the 4-seed Penn State versus the 13-seed Stephen F. Austin. Then we've got the 6-seeded Iowa Hawkeyes versus the 11-seeded Cincinnati Bearcats. That's in Albany. Then we've got Seton Hall versus Hofstra, 3-14 game. Then we have in Cleveland the 7-seeded West Virginia Mountaineers versus the 10-seeded Xavier Musketeers. Then we've got the 2-seed Dayton against the 15-seed South Dakota State. And then in the South, we have the 1-seeded Baylor Bears versus Radford. Then we've got the 8-seed Illinois against 9-seeded Arizona State. Then we've got, in Sacramento, we've got the 5-seed Michigan versus either the 12-seed, either North Carolina State or Providence will be the 12-seed. Then we've got Auburn as the 4-seed against North Texas, the 13-seed. Then we've got Arizona, the 6-seed, versus Rhode Island, the 11th-seed. Then we've got Villanova, the 3-seed, versus Colgate, the 14-seed. Then we've got Marquette as a 7-seed versus East Tennessee State as a 10-seed. That's a shock this year. Very, very, very tall team. Then we've got 2-seeded Florida State versus 15-seeded Little Rock, Arkansas. Then we've got, in the West, 1-seeded Gonzaga versus either Siena or St. Francis, Pennsylvania. That'll be a blowout. 8-seeded Texas Tech versus 9-seeded Virginia. Then we've got the 5 seed Wisconsin versus the 12 seed Yale. And then 4 seed Oregon, I can't speak. 4 seeded Oregon Ducks versus the 13 seed New Mexico State. If you see the arrows by them, I just want to explain that. If there's a red arrow, it means they've went down a seeding, and if there's a green arrow, then that means they're going up in the seedings. Then we've got BYU as a 6 seed, and playing either USC or Oklahoma will be the 11 seed there. Then we have the 3 seeded Creighton Blue Jays against 14 seeded UC Irvine. Then we have 7 seeded Houston versus 10 seeded Rutgers. And then we've got 2 seeded Duke against the 15 seeded Montana Grizzlies. Again, this is going to be every weekend until the tournament starts, and I'm pretty sure the tournament will start March 19th. Games will be on TBS, TNT, CBS, and True TV if you want to watch them. Games usually start about noon and usually end about last games usually. So the first games usually start at 12, and then the last games start at like 10:30 at night, something like that. Some of the teams out west play at that time. But anyways, this was the NCAA tournament bracketology update for this weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.